Thank you, Rita. She is fantastic, let me tell you. She deserves a round of applause. I'll be short, because I know, again, we stand between you and food. And being Italian, that's not a small thing. So I'll move along here. But I wanted to also welcome all of you individually, all the students, your parents, your brothers and sisters, grandparents, whoever's with you today, commuters and residents, to Wagner. And so as you have learned through this process, it's a very positive community. And that's very, very important to us, that you really feel part of the community. And I could urge you to do one thing. It's to join an organization or more than one organization. Not kill yourself and get distracted from your basic studies. But we pretty much know that success in college is not only related to lots of self-discipline, which I'll talk about in a second, but also related to the fact of being involved. There are all these statistics nationally that show that students who have the highest GPAs get to graduate school, get jobs, go on to professional schools like medical schools and law schools and the like, are students who are involved in the life of the campus that they're living on or part of. I was a commuter student, so I say this to commuters as well as to our resident students. We have about 85% or so of our freshmen are resident students. So it's important to get involved and find it, because what happens, I think, is that you find an affinity group around things that you're interested in, and you find friendships and connection. For the freshman students, you know, you're coming to a new place. It's almost like being an immigrant in some sense. You're coming to a new land. You don't know the norms. You don't know the folklore. You're learning the language. You're trying to figure out if I can reproduce who I am in some way, but you're also stretching yourself to find new kinds of friends who come from different backgrounds. So that's an important part of college, that transition. Give yourself a little space in the first semester, because you're going to go up and down. You're going to be exuberant for the first 4 or 5 days, then you're going to be depressed because you're not home, then you're going to be exuberant again. You're going to make a bunch of friends, find new friends, leave those friends. This is all the ups and downs of reestablishing yourself in some way. But be assured that Wagner is here because we believe in you. And we wouldn't have accepted you. We had many options. We wouldn't have accepted you unless we thought you would flourish here. And so we're going to challenge you, but we're also there to support you. It's that kind of small community who really care about each other. And to that effect, I'll just tell your parents now and you that if you can spell my last name, which is a challenge, it took me about 11 or 12 years to figure it out, you can spell my last name, Guarasci, which is on the website and everywhere else, at wagner.edu. You can email me directly 24/7. Now, I wouldn't start with me, because I probably know less than you do about how things work, but I will get it to the right person. So if you're getting jammed up in the system and things really aren't working, and you tried really hard with your RA and your roommate and your faculty advisor and this and that and one office or another, you email me. And if you're a parent, the same thing. I wouldn't be helicopter parents and try to do for your students, let them find a way to do for themselves first, and give them some space to grow up. But I would tell you that if you find yourself in a situation where it's just not working, please email me, and I'll email you back almost within a couple of hours for sure. And thank you for your note, and say, look, I'm not the guy, but I'm going to get this to the right person. I'm going to CC that person so you can see where I'm sending it. Please keep me informed how this thing is unfolding. So that's important, but that says a lot about the kind of community you are. Because these young folks, these 90-plus folks who moved you in today, all did this as volunteers. They're not paid. They did it because they care about each other, they care about their school, and that's the community you're joining. We do take care of each other here. So that's one. Two, I would say you're at an institution that has a very innovative curriculum. It's had it now for, I think it's going on 13 years, called the Wagner Plan. You've learned a bit about it. But essentially what we've done is say, look, we live in this great global city, one of the great cities, if not the greatest city in the world. I won't go so far as to say the greatest, because I don't like those comparisons, but we are certainly a great city, not only now, but throughout history. And it's a city which is very open to everyone in many, many ways, lots of issues like most cities have, but it's a very tolerant city when you think about who we are and where we live and the times we live in. And we have tried very, very hard, and this Wagner Plan has been very successful in linking learning and location by taking this great city, particularly Manhattan, but all of the city and the surrounding areas, and linking them into our classrooms. That, in essence, is what the Wagner Plan is about. It's integrated learning, integrating you in so many different ways. And our provost and one of our wonderful professors who's in charge of the first-year program piece will talk to you about this more in a second. But that's essentially what it's about, is linking real-world situations back into the classroom so you can see the relationship between ideas and real-world experience. You can see how your learning is expanding your knowledge, but also giving you greater sense of discovery about the world around you. And New York is a global city. When I have my students in my own, I teach every semester myself, in one course in the fall, one course in the spring. When I teach my courses in the spring and a course on cities and globalization, and we have them working in civic engagement work here in a little community called Port Richmond, which is made up of all kinds of diverse groups, I explain to my students that that's a global site. It's not a site in Staten Island, it's just not a site in New York. It's a site, it's a world site in many ways, where movement of capital and labor around the world will come there to do certain things. So that's part of what the Wagner plan is about. It's linking learning and location. And the last thing I'll just say to you is that I want you to feel that this is your home. It's a new home. It's not replacing the home you have. It's just another home, but it's a home for you. And it takes a little while, as I said in the beginning, to construct that kind of home. But it is a home for you. We care about it very deeply. I grew up in a very large, extended family. We never ate Sunday without God knows how many people around the table, most of whom you didn't know. They happened to stop in, of extended relatives. But I've always used the table as a metaphor. For the family I grew up in, that food, as my friends will tell you in a second, food for me was sacred. It was a way in which you said to another person, I care about you, we're part of each other. You may be nuts, I may have to listen to all your stories, but we're part of this together. And that's really what the curriculum is here. That's what learning is here. It's our food. It's how we connect with each other, and we discover the world and grow together and become the best human beings we can be. So I'm available to you. I'm excited you're here. We have a great student body that you're joining. And when I'm on campus, please stop me, say hello, tell me what's going on in your life. I live for that, so that's wonderful. Again, welcome everyone. See you.